gentlemen, Legend in My Spare Time podcast.
This podcast is a proud member of the IHOP Network, the International House of Podcasts.
Hey everybody, I'm Steve.
I'm Joe.
I'm Mike.
I'm Seb.
And we're Dinner and a Podcast, and you're listening to the International House of Podcast Network.
Legend in My Spare Time!
Legend in My Spare Time contains themes and subjects that may not be suitable for everyone listening. If you're easily offended, we suggest you get your podcast on elsewhere.
Motherfucker!
Legend in My Spare Time.
Legend in My Spare Time!
Hi, this is Carl Weathers, and you're listening to Legend in My Spare Time podcast.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson from Something to Wrestle With. Bruce Pritchard, and you're listening to Legend in My Spare Time.
Legend in My Spare Time!
G'day, this is the Aussie.
Hi, and I'm the Palm, and we are from the Aussie and the Palm Show.
And you are listening to the International House of Podcast Network.
I'm Joe from Dinner and a Podcast, and you're listening to the IHOP Network.
Hey, this is Sean.
And I'm Will from the Dudes in Toylands podcast. You're listening to the International House of Podcast Network.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners all around the world, to a brand new edition of your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast. Legend in My Spare Time is back, baby. And if it's Legend in My Spare Time, it means it's me, Matt motherfucking Lees, and the one, the only, the most exciting man in podcasting, Just Johnny, is in his house. At least I think he is. There he is. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us once again here on everybody's favorite podcast.
Another glorious, exciting intro.
Thank you very much. At least I didn't stutter over it this time, and then you didn't call me out on it. You know.
No, I wouldn't do that.
We are proud members of the IHOP Network, the International House of Podcasts. Check out all our friends' shows over there. Also, very exciting to see Not Another Nerdy Podcast dropping 2 new episodes recently, first in many months. So nice to see them back. I mean, they make our schedule look regular. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was going to try and think of a poo joke there, but no, I'll remain classy.
If it comes back to you, you know, we have our episode, so if it comes back to you during the time, just go ahead and let me know. And of course, Aussie and the Palm, the Gooners in the USA podcast, and Dinner and a Podcast. Now, we'll come back to Dinner and a Podcast a little later, won't we, Just Johnny?
We might.
Yeah, there's something that we're going to discuss about them. We're going to call them on. That's right. But you'll have to stay tuned because we'll come back to that much later. I love starting off the show by asking you, because you are the most exciting man in podcasting, as part of our housekeeping, as it were. What have you been up to, Just Johnny?
No, I'm drawing a blank. Apart from the usual work, I genuinely can't think of anything.
No.
Saw Shazam.
Yes, as did I.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes. Now,
as did I.
As did I. Now, I also saw Shazam, and I also enjoyed it. So it's we don't need to go spoilerific, but we can get right into it. And because I told you I had a beef with the movie in a certain way.
By all means, elaborate.
Now, it needs me because as you'll surely agree, because I'm overly dramatic and long-winded, I have to go back to tell you this story, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to take you back to the movie Big with Tom Hanks, where Tom Hanks played the adult version of a little kid who made a wish to be a grown-up and turned into, you guessed it, Tom Hanks. Now, in that movie, Tom Hanks is playing the grown-up version of that little kid. I did not get that version, that feeling from Chuck and the little kid. Now, to me, he wasn't playing the same kid. And I know that's kind of pulling at straws.
In Big, you got that feeling that he's playing
the same kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the major thing. I mean, I think Joe from Dinner and a Podcast also made that point before they call us out on it for stealing their idea or whatever. But
that
I mean,
was definitely, if you think about it, he's what's supposed to be a 15-year-old boy. Like in Big, he's just a normal man, so he can kind of be himself. But imagine getting Superman's powers, and then obviously you need that nerdy guy to kind of explain it to the audience and to this guy, which is convenient. But finding out that, if you accidentally punch someone or throw someone, like you could kill them. So it's kind of like you basically got the powers of a god.
Yeah, I know, but it changed his entire personality changed every time,
But also, isn't he supposed to have the wisdom of Solomon?
Yeah, I mean, that was a great point that you made because the dude's pretty kind of, they kept him at I won't say he's stupid, but for a grown man, they kept him at the intelligence level of a young kid. But like you mentioned to me, he's supposed to have the intelligence of Solomon.
So like, surely it'd kind of be a case of, even if they did that, was it the hangover scene where he's got, he's thinking, you see all those maths equations, even if they kind of do some kind of, wait, I know what to do. Wait, how do I know that? Like even if they made a joke on it, they could have. Yeah,
but I guess that would be literally doing a scene from Chuck.
Oh shit! Yeah,
because he literally used to be like, "Wait, how do I know?" Didn't he? I mean, I'm not. And then the things would run in his head, like, and you'd see the special effects of the things running through Chuck's head.
Oh, I haven't seen that TV show in years.
No, I know it fell off the rails hard, is what I seem to remember for that.
I can't remember the ending of it, but I do remember enjoying it.
Yeah. Now, a little while ago, talking movies, we made up a game, which was stream it, steal it. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Buy
like,
it.
Would you?
I don't remember what all the things were. We're so bad at this. But what would you, Shazam, where do you rank Shazam on that? Is it something that, yeah, you'll stream it if it's on Netflix, you might just kind of legally acquire a copy, or you need to pick it up for the Blu-ray collection, or do you not care if you ever see it again? Maybe one of our fabulous listeners, like Librarian Kate, can come up with a cooler way to say that, and also give us her ranking on this film as well. So shout out to her. Very supportive fan and friend. I hate using fan. I hate that. Just Johnny, if I ever call our listeners fans again, I want you to call me out on it and stop me. Because for me anyway, I'm not judging. It just sounds so incredibly... Is it? I don't know. Egotistical, maybe.
Well,
is that right?
Why don't we ask our fans and see what they think?
All right. So the listeners, maybe there's a cooler way to say that. But so for Shazam, Just Johnny, do you stream it? Are you gonna maybe steal it? Will you have to buy it on Blu-ray, or do you not really care if you ever see it again?
I would most definitely have to buy this one on Blu-ray.
Yes,
because that there's going to be a few scenes that were left out, and depending on who does audio commentaries, I think that could be an interesting...
Yeah. I do love audio commentaries.
Yeah.
I don't want the listeners should know how rare that is for you, because Just Johnny is not a collector of physical media at all. Well, I mean, for movies and stuff, I don't know you to go out and buy a Blu-ray very often. I don't see that of you.
Yeah, because I legally just pay for them.
Right. Digitally. Like you buy like the codes and stuff, right? Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But... in my defense, I currently don't have a Blu-ray player.
I know. We talk about this, and if I'm honest, this is your white sock thing. I don't want to bring up old dirt about you harassing me for wearing white socks, but I think you not owning a Blu-ray player for me is just as shocking as myself wearing white socks.
Well, no, I'd say it's nowhere near, because like you said, I can legally acquire Blu-ray and really high-definition qualities. I don't have a PlayStation or Xbox. I have a PC, and everything is on Steam or downloadable these days because,
That's true. That's true.
It's as I said, which we might address about the whole plug situation. It isn't something that I've needed to do just yet.
Right. The whole plug situation. What plug situation?
Well, correct me if my memory is a bit shady. But did you or did you not, and then I get roped into it, kind of get some abuse off someone in work for not being able to wire a plug?
Oh, so you just throw me right under the bus. 6 minutes in, man. 7 minutes in. I'm right under the bus.
Well, I thought it was a nice plug.
What's that got to do with buying a Blu-ray?
What was my answer? Because obviously the guy the boss came down and said, can you wire a plug? And I was like, oh, no, was it, have you ever wired a plug? And I said, no. And he's like, why? I was like, it's never come up.
That's right. That's right.
Like,
That's what happened to us. Now listen.
I can read instructions. I'm pretty sure I could do it if I, quick 5-minute video on YouTube. I've never needed to. Either it's a case of, my dad is kind of like, no, I'll do it, or I'll get someone to do it, even though he doesn't trust me.
Yeah. All right. So listen, firstly, I'll watch Shazam if it's streamable one day, but I'm not really in a big rush, even though I liked it. Okay. There's the bow on that part.
But on the same vein, though, if you could, well, we'll go for 2. If you could big yourself, who would you want to play you? And if you could Shazam yourself, who would you be? Like, what superhero would you be?
Oh,
like,
man.
Obviously, you can say, I don't know, Superman instead of Shazam.
All right. Listen, I want to hear from all the listeners on this one, too. So ask that again, because that's cool. I want all your listeners at hashtag IHOP Network to play along with this one, because I liked it a lot. Say it again, you handsome motherfucker.
So the Shazam game.
Right.
Who would you be? But I think I reckon the caveat to this would you'd have to say their name. So, for instance,
right.
Jon Snow.
Right.
Or,
okay.
Elastic Man, whatever it is. You'd have to say.
Okay. Are we doing Big and Shazam?
Yeah, I'm Big. And then, the Big is who would play you, or who would you want to play you?
All right, I got the answer for that one first. So my big, so we want you guys to play along too. Hashtag LIMST, all you listeners, Danny, Kate, Ozzy and the Palm. Check out Ozzy and the Palm's recent episode too, just to get sidetracked very quickly, because the Ozzy was really grumpy, and that's a fun listen for me. He should be. He recorded at like 5 a.m. his time, but you know how much I have a warm place in my heart for grumpy people.
Kindred spirit.
That's right. So Big and Shazam yourself. Let us know who's going to play you in the movie Big. And boys and girls, we want you all to play along. And boys and girls and Steve from Dinner and Podcast, you can play too. And who's going to Shazam? Who plays you in Shazam, or just what superhero is it?
What superhero would you, if you could say Shazam and be any superhero, what would you be? Or who would it be?
Okay. Well,
and what would you have to shout out?
Right. Now I'm going on. Do you have your answers prepared, or are you thinking on your feet?
I'm pretty sure you can guess my superhero one.
It's Wolvie, right? You're a big Wolverine fan?
Yeah.
We understand. Wolverine. All right. So you would have to yell, Wolverine!
That would be a bit sad, but yeah.
It'd be funny that, if it didn't work a couple times and you were trying to show it to me, and I'd be like, he's lost his mind.
It's like, why isn't it working? I bit my tongue and I can't speak.
Right. All right. So
maybe it doesn't understand the Welsh accent. Wolverine.
Yeah, it's funny that sometimes Siri doesn't understand y'all Welsh motherfuckers. Now, okay. So myself for Big, I know it's not necessarily going to lean to comedy, or maybe it would, but for my Big, it's going to be Michael C. Hall, known for playing Dexter Morgan. That's going to be the guy I turn into when I become a grown up. Even though I'm fucking 38 years old.
I realized after I said that, I was like, shit, we all grown ups.
Right? It's sad now, because we still say things like, when I grow up, even though we're fucking old men. Anyway, I just made a shout out to the Tragically Hip, so there you go for you Canadian listeners. Okay,
Canadian,
so Big myself was Michael C. Hall, and you're of course, your superhero is the easy answer. That's Wolverine. So what about you for bigging yourself? Who plays you as a grown up?
See, I'm torn between, do I go with someone who I feel like could represent me well, or who would just, you wouldn't have to really give a lot of direction to. Like, for instance, I'm not saying I'm anywhere as attractive as Ryan Reynolds, but
now listen, you stop, baby. Don't talk about yourself that way.
But
please,
that would be a funny movie.
Yeah, if Ryan Reynolds played you and Dexter Morgan played me. That
would be funny.
I'd watch it. You know what I mean? I'd watch it. I mean, I'll pretty much watch Ryan Reynolds in most things,
Yeah.
So, dude, that's a fun game. Look at you. I didn't do my superhero one, though. Okay, so, it's got to be Soups, man, because a lot of superheroes, here's my reasoning why. A lot of superheroes have to suffer a lot. So you think like you might want to be Deadpool, right? But he goes through some shit. He gets burned up, he gets cut up, he gets blown up, If I had the powers of Superman, I could just be like, fuck this, and pick up Rachel, Lois Lane style, and we could just fly away, right?
Yeah, but then, everyone would constantly be hounding you, or the fact that you could hear everything going on. You can hear people getting beaten, murdered. You know, you would hear all that shit. You wouldn't be able to tune it out.
Yeah, but let's be honest. In real life right now, I have headphones in or on like 90% of my life, so I can drain that shit out too.
Really, though? But then why would you be Superman? What's the point in having his powers if you're just going to go fly away and, I don't know, you'd speed into a bank, rob some money or whatever, learn to hack?
Well, how dare you? You don't know that I would turn criminal. How dare you, sir? Super Lees flying around robbing banks?
Oh, come on. Like, you wouldn't, you know, I don't know, let's, for instance, I'm on a date. All of a sudden, I'm standing there talking. You super speed in and just drop my trousers and then super speed out or something. I'll take a photo and then... See, come on, everyone would.
No, man, because back to your statement before, we're grown-ups now, man. We don't do things like that anymore.
Oh, come on.
You know what I really probably couldn't resist? Like, if this was like a therapy moment and a really honest confession here. If I could move so quick that people couldn't see me, you know what I would probably do? As cowardly as it sounds, is I'd probably punch people up in their face when they made me angry, right? Because you could just be like, poof, whap them one and disappear. And all of a sudden they'd be like, yo, why my face hurt, man?
Or you'd have to sort of walk away, and then as you turn away, then quickly do it.
Right.
So they'd be like, whoa, what the fuck? Like,
right.
But think about it. You're going at that speed. A normal punch at the speed that's going faster than the human eye could see, you're taking his head off. It's popping.
Oh, see, that's dangerous now.
See, that's the thing. You've got that power.
Well, that's why I wanted to fly away, man. But you called me out on that. So
yeah, but like, I was just saying, like, if you could hear everything. But that's the thing. He's basically a god. He could see and do everything, anything.
I know. But I like Superman, man. I don't want to be Batman because he suffers. You know,
but then you could have just said, like, I just wish I could teleport.
What's teleporting going to do for me, man?
Well, you could just teleport away.
But can I take Rachel with me, though, is the question.
Yeah, it depends on who teleports. I mean, if you go Nightcrawler, you'd have to be blue and furry. But then there's a few other people out there, like John Wraith can teleport.
Yeah, but Superman can just fly, man. You know? And I don't have to worry about allergies or spiders anymore, right?
No, just green rocks.
Yeah, but how there's more spiders than there are green rocks, man.
But the thing is,
if somebody does cause trouble, they're going to get the ass whooped, right? So that's not bad either.
But you would outlive everyone.
Yeah, that's the part, you know, because I have no interest in living forever. That's a shame. That part's a shame. But I could keep like a reserve of green rocks, kryptonite, and go down when I'm ready, like the Terminator style, you know, and just kind of leave the thumb going and just sink into the kryptonite.
You know, comic style. You know, oh, wait there. If you're Shazam, can you not just say, you know, Matt Lees, turn back into yourself and...
Yeah, why don't I... Yeah, but
that's the whole point now.
Yeah, but isn't that cheating? The game's called Shazam Yourself, so is it cheating if you just say Shazam?
Well, not really, because like you turn Shazam, you turn into him when you need him, right? So if you Shazam, fly away, and then you can just come...
I'm Shazamming. Since I invented the game, I'm Shazamming. So my Shazam answer would be Shazam.
Really? Shazam?
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't call me out on stealing credit for your game right away.
It's pointless. Because we got it recorded that I came up with the game.
That's true. That's literally the last thing that they heard right before I said that bullshit, you know?
See, the thing is, though, if you would happen to be someone like Wolverine, you could just stay Wolverine.
Yeah, but Wolverine sucks, man.
Like, in what way?
I don't know. I was just trying to.
He doesn't get drunk. He doesn't. Doesn't get ill.
Yeah, but he suffers, man, and he dies slowly and painfully. Because that's the only way to kill him.
No, he only dies slowly and painfully if he hasn't got a healing factor. And then, obviously, in current continuity, he just comes back. You give it a few weeks, the fans miss him. Marvel thinks, shit, we fucked up here, and then they bring him back.
All right, well, fine. J.J. Hawkins from Mars Needs Podcast is shouting at his phone right now because he does not like Wolverine. He thinks he's very overrated, and one day he wants to debate you on that. Anyway, folks, let us know how you would big yourself and how you would Shazam yourself. Please do it. I love it. We love interacting, right, Just Johnny?
Well...
You're even in the Facebook group. There's a Facebook group for the IHOP network. I even added you to it. So hit us on there or on Twitter. How do you big yourself and how do you Shazam yourself? Well done, Just Johnny. I'm very happy that you came up with a little something.
Proud of you.
Proud of you. I'm proud of you, bro. All right. Speaking of proud of you, let's tell the plug story. So in our bathroom here in our home, we don't have a window to the outside. Actually, I can do that with like we don't have a window to the outside.
Where does your window go in your bathroom?
There is no window in my bathroom.
Channeling your inner twilight. So.
That's right. And I'm even adding a little reverb on it, kind of like Tom Van Zandt does from Not Another Pretty Nerdy podcast. And he'll say that I'm pew pew stealing his shit, but I've been using a reverb channel for fucking 20 years because I'm an old motherfucker. But I love those dudes and I'm glad they're back. So check them out on the iHeart Network. Anyway, what the hell were we talking about? The plug. That's right. There's no window in my bathroom. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me preempt this as I always do, kind of like Bill Cosby telling a story. Oh, wait a minute. You put the perils in the people. So that's a terrible joke, Just John. You should be ashamed of yourself. Please apologize immediately. So,
hey, I didn't touch anyone inappropriately
that we know about. This bathroom has a small, there's a ceiling fan, an oscillating fan. That's a fun word, oscillating. But there's a little plug up near the ceiling, which turns on the fan so that you kind of turn that on when you use the shower. Okay, so when the light comes on, the fan comes on. So the plugs are related. Now, one day on this little plug that's up there, there's a little plastic clip that holds it in. So when you turn it on, the fan stays on. I'm sure this is a really fascinating story. Now,
you could have just said extractor plug. I'm sure everyone would have understood.
All right. Don't try to man up me here, man, because, it's 1-0. You never changed the plug. So anyway, bro.
Yeah, but what was my response to all that? I built a PC, though. Which I warrant is harder.
That's true. You have built a PC, and I'm sure that is inevitably harder from the experience that I had. So anyway, this plug, I look on Amazon, and it's pretty cheap. And we rent this home, so our best way to get it fixed, because the little plastic clip that holds it in place had broken off, so the fan would not stay on anymore. So they look relatively cheap, and the only way to get it fixed would be to call the landlord. And as listeners of this podcast will know, the rental agency we work with or we rent from are in no rush to fix anything and are by no means finding anything urgent, especially around Easter time. So I figure it's going to take them weeks to show up. And the other problem, which I love, and you know how much I love this, Just Johnny, is they always show up randomly, right? You wait like 3 weeks, and then dude calls you at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday and says, yeah, all right, I can be there in 10 minutes to fix your fan, I can. 10 minutes, man. I have a job, sir. I can't be home in 10 minutes. How about you give me like a day's notice? And they always say,
they do say, we'll give you 24 days notice, 24 hours notice minimum.
Yeah, well, listen, that's some bullshit, okay? I'm here to let you know, motherfuckers. So I figure, how hard can it be? I'll ask Tony Granddad Jokes, our colleague and former guest on this podcast, if he'll do it for me, because he's Mr. Fix-It.
Whoa. Tony's dead.
Oh, yeah. So, anyway, listen, kayfabe, brother, but, we killed him off in podcast form, but in the real world, he's still doing as little as he ever did. Anyway, he loves that shit, so I kind of mentioned to him about changing it over, and maybe he could come over and do it for me. And he said, yeah, sure I will. So I agreed to buy it on the Amazon, and he would come over and change it. When it finally arrived, I was talking to him, and then our boss, Big Head, as we'll call him, overheard this, and then it became very similar to the white sock debacle, ladies and gentlemen. Go back and check out previous episodes to hear the absolute abuse I've had over wearing white socks. But of course, our loyal and lovely and adorable listeners have agreed with me the White Sox rule, and Just Johnny should shut his face. Anyway.
Wait, your fans from abroad.
Don't say fans, our listeners, our friends.
Your fans from abroad agreed with you because they all do the same thing. That's like saying, what do you call your currency? See, everyone agrees with me. It should be dollars. It's like, yeah, all your American and Canadian friends.
Listen, you're very bitter about the socks. Anyway, This became
Clearly. I just won't let it go.
It's like a real thing for you, man. It's a real switch. You get very worked up. It's kind of like friend.
I'm sorry.
It's kind of like our friend Squee from the Doctor Who related podcast Gallifrey Stands, our good buddy. Him and DuckTales. That's a real switch for that guy. He gets real upset, as you've seen yourself. Anyway, this becomes harassment time. So now I'm getting mocked because the dudes, the men, the guys at work can't believe that Leesy's never changed a plug. And to me, I'm like, of course I've never changed a plug, man. I've never had to. I'm not a handyman, nor am I really barely a real man. So of course I haven't changed a plug. Now, this was similar to the White Sox because now there are a circle of people around me laughing, pointing, giggling, saying, this guy can't change a plug. And the way I looked at it was, listen, motherfuckers, I was busy trying to be a fucking rock god, writing songs and playing in rock and roll and blues bands and fucking getting smashed and earning $5 a night or $20 a night if I was lucky, so I didn't have time to learn how to change a plug, man. And I'd like to see any of you mofos write a song or mix, produce, and release a song. Ironically enough, check out on Spotify, April 27th, the Matt Lees Band is back with blues single Remind Yourself on all digital platforms. That's April 27th. Remind yourself to check that song out because that's called Remind Yourself too. And that's why you don't ad-lib voice promos. So anyway, when any one of us gets abuse at our lovely place of work, Just Johnny, what's the next thing that usually happens?
Usually the boss says, right, come with me. And then takes us to the other person to either A, hope that he can get us both, or that, I will agree with Mike, and then he can rip on you double as hard, or he can rip on us both.
That's right. It's a really positive experience and atmosphere. So if one of us screws up, we're both getting it. We're both in trouble. So he says to me, well, you think your buddy Just Johnny can change a plug? And I was like, absolutely not. And I said, but you know what? He's built computers, so if anyone can, I'm going to say it would be him. And he said, well, let's go and find out then. So now there's like a little crew of us coming down to see you in your area to basically find out if you can change a plug. And that's where they all just kind of teased us. And I'm going to tell you, for the sake of spite and the sake of embarrassment, on break, I checked out many YouTube videos on how to do the thing and decided I'm going to do the motherfucker myself. Because nobody puts Leezy in a corner.
Except Leezy.
Shit. So if you want to see how the rest of that adventure went, you're going to go to YouTube, our Legend in My Spare Time podcast account, because there's a little ditty down there on there. There's a video of my experience changing the plug and learning how to do it. And of course, the grand finale, the end game of our little story here is us together finding out if the plug indeed works after I did quote unquote man work. You know what I'm saying?
Clearly I do, because I do man work all the time.
Oh, of course you do. I don't believe you. I don't buy it, but that's okay. Now, Just Johnny, before we go into some conspiracy talk, I got a couple of things I want to touch on. Firstly, the other podcast here, Matt Lees Gets Creative, just finished up season 1. All 10 episodes are available. I'm incredibly proud of them all. Check them out wherever you get your podcasts. And the finale, which was even a cool surprise and a late addition for me, was the
You're on form today, sir.
Why, thank you. I'm a true professional, if nothing else. Was with Brendan from Wheatus, a rare guest that I had where even you were excited, with your limited knowledge of cool things that happened many years ago, evidently.
Shocked.
So, so final episode with Brendan from Wheatus. And if I'm honest, I've been trying to get a podcast go with Brendan for many, many years. And I have like an email chain going back for a very long time because I kind of just kept missing them. They always seem down and willing to do it, but the schedules never seem to line up. Finally, they did. I had a cool one planned for the final episode of Matt Lees Gets Creative, but that's going to now launch off season 2. So it's just as cool. So there you go. Check that out. Wheatus, somebody that you've seen how many times? Many times live? Many?
At least twice.
I bigged it up in my head. I thought it was a lot more than that.
No, just twice. Well, once they were... Oh, wait, there's bugging me. Was it their first album, their self-named album?
Yes. There's their self-named, self-produced album that they made at Brendan's mom's house. Check out more about that on the podcast.
That was the first one that I saw when they headlined it, I believe is the correct word. And then they supported Jimmy Eat World about 10 years later.
Well, they go. And, you know, considering how much you like stuff, like going outside, the fact you've seen them twice is a pretty big deal, I'd say.
It is. I genuinely don't know who else I've seen twice.
And, of course, if you don't know, because there are some strange people out there, man, Teenage Dirtbag is one of the smashes. An absolute rocket ship of a song. Lemonade, some really great tunes, man. But another brother podcast of ours, Misinformation, and our buddy Zach, I sent it to him thinking he'd be like, that's really cool. And he, well, at least he claims as such, never, ever heard of Wheatus or heard the song Teenage Dirtbag. What do you think of that, Just Johnny?
He has to be pulling your leg.
That's what I thought. I was like, whatever, man. It's been in movies. Like, really? He maintains never heard the song before. I'm sure our buddy Weller would strongly disagree, folks. But Misinfo podcasts are also back recently, so check them out too. You know, so it's the more listens for everybody, the better. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
I had some good luck with toys today, my friend.
Which is good because you like toys.
I enjoy toys. Now, this is a series called Metalworks? I don't know if you've seen them. They're kind of like short, stumpy figures, and they're
like mini pops.
I guess sort of, but they're like a metal die-cast kind of thing. They're called Metal Die-Cast Ghostbusters. So we walk into a store today that has really random shit all the time. So it has normal stuff, but the toys and the products always kind of switch out. So it's worth checking out every once in a while. We walk in there, and they're selling, like, if you look on your Amazons or your eBays or whatever, you're looking about $10 to $15 each for these dudes, right? So it's one of these things where there's so many of them that if you buy one or two, you're going to be like, oh, damn it, now I got to get the rest of them, you know? So there's a little shelf, and it says these things are on sale for £4. Now there's a couple of different sort of things around. There's a lot of stuff from video games now, like Fortnite and some Team Fortress shit. I don't know why we need toys of that stuff. Anyway, so I look on the shelf, £4, and I'm like, that's a pretty good deal. And I see one of the Ghostbusters. Now, of course, if you're going to buy one of them, you need all four of them, right? Otherwise, there's no point. Because if I can get a couple of them for $4, but then I got to pay like 30 or 20, which is always my luck for the last guy, I didn't really get that much of a deal, right? So in this shelf, this place, of course, I'm immediately elbows out because that's how I shop for toys, right? Because you're like, right, everybody back the fuck up because I'm looking on this shelf here and I will bite a motherfucker.
Especially a kid.
Right? I've told the story, I'm sure, on here about how I've taken toys out of children's hands in toy stores.
No, you genuinely
Yes,
haven't.
I have.
No.
I think that was the time you were really ashamed of me.
I was just about to say, like, I don't think I've ever felt more scumbaggy about you. Like, dude.
Well, it wasn't like he was walking away with it even. He was kind of like, he was like, no, I can't tell this story because
nothing's going to make it sound better. Scumbag. Hey, tell your other non-scumbaggy story.
Which one was it? See, now so anyway, we're looking on the shelf, and I see one Ghostbuster, and I think odds are they're going to have like two of them, three of them tops, and I'm never going to find the last one. So there are only a total of 4 Ghostbusters left on these shelves out of all these maybe 20, 30 different variations of these metal die-cast toys. And Just Johnny, brother, do you know which 4 figures this was?
I'm going to say the main cast.
We had one Ghostbuster, Zeddemore. We find Stance. We find Venkman. No Spengler. We're looking. Oh my goodness, there it is. We got a full set for £4 each. Hallelujah. Holy shit. Am I right? Like, you're a toy collector, you're a toy guy. You know how rare that is. That's like the fucking golden unicorn and shit, right?
Golden unicorn? Is that a thing?
I don't know, but it is now, man. # golden unicorn. I know Danny Lee Abbott, our friend and listener, will understand this because he's a toy hunter too. Scratch that figure itch, brother.
Yeah.
So we find all four, okay? Now, some people, some listeners, and some friends even may think, man, my wife would kick my ass if she saw me buying Ghostbusters. And that may have crossed my mind briefly for a few seconds in this toy store, or in this store that also sells toys. I look down the aisle to my right and see my wonderful wife, who I've known many years, my whole life almost, coming towards me carrying Little Mermaid Lego, and I thought, we got this motherfucker now. Because she's going to want the Lego, right? So that means I'm going to get the Ghostbusters too. Perfect.
I tell you what, you get the Lego, I'll get the Ghostbusters.
Right? High five, like Chandler and Monica, call it even. High five. But then, wonderful wife that she is, as we're leaving the aisle, notices something that I didn't notice. I'm slacking in my old age. To match this same set, she found a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Also, for a great price of £12, my friend. And let me tell you, these things are glorious. Glorious. So it was a very productive day when we just randomly went to the store because she inevitably wanted to look at Lego. But we all won in this situation, man. We all won. So good things do happen to good people sometimes. So keep your heads up. And sometimes you find some cool Ghostbusters toys that you're very excited to find. You know what I'm saying?
That you're allowed to buy.
That you're allowed to buy, because sometimes, let's be honest, it's the real world. Sometimes we can't buy toys. We've got to pay bills and stuff, you know?
Bloody bills.
So there you go. That's my friggin' Ghostbusters thing. Now, you and I, we're going to do a little something here, because you and I have noticed something recently on the IHOP network, haven't we, my friend?
Yes, something suspicious.
So our good friends and fellow founding members, Dinner and a Podcast. Shout out to Joe and the guys. See, now something else here for this, folks. Follow them at Dinner Podcast on the Twitter, and make sure you subscribe and listen to their great show. Really funny show. But we used to kind of like Mike was our favorite, right? And then Mike ghosted us a few times and said he would do the podcast and didn't. I'm not trying to start no beef or go on about things. I'm just saying that I'm going to go ahead.
The last time where we kind of won the beef.
Yeah, we are undefeated with pod beefs. You know what I mean? Tom Van Zant from Not Another Nerdy Podcast likes beef. But Purdy, Not Another Purdy Podcast. That would be them if you guessed it with them, Just Johnny. Oh, see what I did there? I called you Purdy. Anyway, I don't want to beef with them guys, because those guys, goddamn, that's bad English, because I like those guys. Anyway, Joe's our favorite on Dinner and a Podcast. It's Joe and the boys as far as I'm concerned, because, that's just, Anyway, their gimmick, as it were, is that they record in a diner having a meal, and the style of the show has really changed. The sound of the show, anyway, has changed a lot. And rather than just talk about it, we thought we would provide you an example. Right, Just Johnny?
Well, there's no... As everyone says these days, where's the evidence?
That's right. So we're going to provide the evidence. So here's what the episodes of Dinner and a Podcast used to sound like. Pass me a bagel. Pass me some marinara. Hey, Joe, I got a story to tell. If you like cookies, Joe, I like cookies very much. Hey, don't worry about it. What's the matter with you? Be a man.
Forget about it.
And as the years went on of the show, here's what it sounds like now. So, hey, welcome to Dinner and a Podcast. Hey, pass me some marinara sauce, Hey, Joe, you got any news? I don't watch trailers because they're icky. Make me feel icky. You knows
Mikey,
it.
What's going on?
Hey, what's happening over here? So, I put to you, good listeners, the Dinner and a Podcast are trying to pull one over on us. They are. I'm saying it here and now. I'm saying it. I don't care. I know you said I shouldn't start a war and I maybe shouldn't say it, but I'm saying it. They are not recording in a diner anymore. The hammer's dropped. They're recording somewhere much nicer. It's a much cleaner sound. You can't bullshit a bullshitter. I'm the guy who says never let the truth get in the way of a good story, but I'm telling you, I'm sorry, Librarian Kate, but we already knew Steve was a creepo. Now we know he's dodgy as fuck, too, and he's trying to kayfabe us, because those boys are not recording in a diner. Can I get an amen?
So shouldn't it be just podcast?
There you go. Joe's Podcast. That's what they should call it. Joe's Podcast. You knows it.
we've, in brackets then, we've all eaten at home, so we're not going out today.
That's right. Now,
we got food at home.
Yeah, we got food. Yeah, we have. That would be the.
Can we have McDonald's? We got food at home.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna make a burger at home. Oh, but it's never as good as McDonald's. It would be called Tea in a Podcast. That was good Welsh, wasn't it? I'm very proud of myself. It would be Tea in a Podcast for the UK version, right? It would just be called We've Got Food at Home.
You got food at home.
Did your parents do the if it thing? Was that a UK thing?
If it's at home, yeah.
Like, well, what do we have for dinner? If it's. I don't know if you guys have that around the world. If it's basically means we're gonna open the fridge and the freezer, and if it's there, you're gonna have it for dinner. And they were always different, but that was kind of some of my favorite meals. Because you end up with like chicken fingers and a thing of alphagetti, and some garlic bread or something. A weird little kind of buffet style meal, which was always very nice. I don't know why we sidetracked to food. Anyway, so we've called Dinner in a Podcast out. The ball's in your court, boys. They ain't gonna hear this because I put to you that they're not listening.
This is the whole let's see who's listening.
Yeah, they're probably not listening. Anyway, but what do you listeners think? I think they're trying to pull one over on us. Anyway, that's my opinion, and that's how I'm talking about a conspiracy. Now, Just Johnny, you recently have become kind of a conspiracy guy, or not recently, but you've always kind of had this in you. And we thought we might try a little new segment that we're going to let you kind of fly, because the story is, ladies and gentlemen, he was telling a mutual friend some things that he had read, some articles, kind of like Alex Jones. He's our answer to Alex Jones.
Oh, come on. I'm not that bad.
I know you're not that bad. I know, but, it's kind of close. Never let the truth get in the way of a good story, right? So you're the closest thing I know to Alex Jones, just like I'm the closest thing you know to Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? Just embrace it. Love it. Know that it's true.
I'd love to see you wrestle.
Listen, one of these days, I'm going to whip your ass. Just remember that.
One of these days.
Hey, over here. Don't worry about it. Be a man.
Is this going to be before or after the baseball match?
Listen, I will whip your ass in the baseball match too, brother. You want to put on ice skates and we'll fucking do some hockey shit? I will whip your ass too. So,
Hey, I think ice skates, I'm not very good at ice skates.
Oh, neither am I, my friend. It's going to be more fun as long as there's a camera rolling. The problem is we're going to hear my wife laughing at both of us in the background, but that's okay. Now,
I think I got you beat at baseball, though.
Motherfucker, you ain't gonna beat me. You ain't gonna beat me at baseball. No way. You're gonna beat me at baseball. No way. I bet you my right nut. I bet my right nut you ain't gonna beat me at baseball. Folks, many moons ago, we had a little baseball challenge come up, and then we never really found a baseball diamond close, and then we just never kind of like made out. We never really kind of made the thing.
Please stop talking.
We never did it. Listen. You listeners know there's been a couple times where we've made promises here at Legend in My Spare Time, and we've broken them, and we just want you to know that we're sorry, and we will endeavor to do better. But anyway, I will whip your ass one day at baseball. So you are going to take over for a moment as our Alex Jones, as it were, because our mutual friend came to me in confidence and said, you need to get that guy away from me because I'm going to knock him out. He's talking about aliens and ancient tablets, and I don't know what the fuck is going on, and I might have to kill him.
I just commented, hey, did you hear that there might be people on Mars?
Well, first, listen, I like that you then told me that I would never let you do it on the podcast, and I said, how dare you? This is your podcast too. So for the first time, I'm sure we'll come up with a name, but right now it's called Just Johnny's Conspiracy Corner. You like that?
I did. I was actually thinking of Corner.
Oh, perfect.
Oh my God, see? Telekinesis.
That's right, because
telepathy.
Steve and Joe might do something called Comic Book Corner, but you know what? Pew pew, motherfuckers. So here we are for Just Johnny's Conspiracy Corner, Episode 1. Take it away, Just Johnny.
Well, I'm not going to tell you the thing that got the coworker all bent out of shape, as it were. That can be saved for another day. I'm going to start off with one of my favorites. Now, I say favorites. This is a favorite conspiracy. I'm not saying I believe in it. I'm just saying, if you look at it sort of objectively, and if it is true, the implications behind it are quite horrifying.
All right, I like that. I'm going to allow that because I think it gives you more freedom within your segment if you don't necessarily have to believe it. You just want to discuss it. So please, take it away, my friend. I'm so proud of you. Look at you stringing words together, you handsome motherfucker.
Right? It's almost like there's a plan. So this conspiracy theory is the hollow moon theory. Now, there's theories out there about the hollow earth and that there's like cavemen or another civilization or the lizard people living under the earth. None of that. This is the hollow moon theory. The theory is that the moon is hollow, and apparently there is evidence, in quotation marks, to prove this. Some of the evidence is along the lines of, I think it was one of the Mars rovers from the Apollo missions, not Mars rovers. One of the Apollo missions, they had a lunar module, and they decided to crash it into the moon just for shits and giggles, because I think they might have set up seismic detectors on it. So they threw this lunar module into the moon, and apparently it rang like a bell for an hour. I don't know what it sounds like, but this is just people who heard it said it rang like a bell, which would only ever happen if it's something that's hollow. And usually when we get an earthquake on Earth, it's kind of, you hear a bit of a rumble, and then that's it, it's gone. But to constantly hear this noise for an hour was a bit suspicious.
Yeah.
And apparently the density of the moon, it's not as dense as it should be for its size. It should be heavier. Now, again, I can't read the ancient Sumerian language.
I thought you were just going to stop at, I can't read. Sorry, please continue.
You can cut that out. Just end it. I can't read.
Yes, sir. It's your segment, sir.
But apparently there's ancient Sumerian text, which is like a 11,000-year-old language that describe or talk about a time before the moon, and then a time where the moon was kind of just brought into the night sky. I can't read the language. I've never seen the tablets, so I haven't translated myself. I'm just going based off what people said that people read.
So you didn't go far enough to translate an ancient Sumerian language for this segment?
Not for this segment, no.
All right, just saying.
Not for the first episode. This
Fair
is
enough.
a test of water.
I understand.
Maybe in season 2.
I understand. Please carry on.
Or maybe like the story, the finale at season 3.
Yes.
And apparently Earth was quite violent in its seasons, and then the moon got sort of pulled into the night sky, and it calmed everything down because of obviously the gravitational effect, and it just kind of slowed everything down and made it more easily to live outside. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Now, obviously, that is the theory, and those are one or two sort of evidence apparently that proves that it's hollow. Although there are, again, counter theories to say why the reason that the moon rang like a bell is because it isn't as dense. So it's kind of like in a denser material, the sound waves would just go straight through it, but in a less dense material, it would kind of last longer. But people are thinking that is just, that's just an excuse. You're just saying that. You don't know.
Because we don't.
But no, we don't. And apparently they're going to be drilling on the moon, or there's a proposed mission to go to the moon to drill. But if you look at the moon, where they landed is kind of more central. If you just look at the moon, it's kind of like all in the middle. But for all of a sudden, they just want to start drilling at the south pole of the moon. And it's like, well, why wouldn't you land close to somewhere where we've landed before? Why go somewhere else, Because in theory, you don't know what's on there, so you don't know what you're digging for. Oh, and another one. Pieces of the rock that they brought back from the moon, all the rocks contained uranium-236 and neptunium-237. Both of these can only be found in the waste from nuclear fusion. They don't occur naturally. You have to fuse materials together, and then this is the waste.
So
which is a bit suspicious.
It is suspicious. So what say you? Just Johnny, the expert. Put your money where your mouth is. What do you think?
I'm going to go ahead and say no, it's not real.
Right.
But the horrifying thing is, if this was real, that there is basically a civilization out there that can create a satellite that I haven't got a very good memory, but I think it's 350,000 kilometers in diameter, which is, or is that the radius? Is that how far it? Anyway, it's a massive, massive object. So it's not even like creating a spacecraft up an airplane. You're creating a fucking huge, like 1.7 million kilometer ball in the sky, and then you just pulled it into an orbit of a planet. So like the weight of it, the energy that's needed to do that, and just creating it in itself is kind of puts anything that we can do just to shame. And if it is a satellite, if it is created and has been put there by some species, obviously it's kind of like putting a camera in a monkey enclosure. You're just there spying on them just to sort of see them in their natural habitat. Like, it's a horrifying theory or horrifying thought if true.
That some race is just watching us like a zoo.
Yeah, like maybe we are. You get those uncontacted tribes living out on an island in the middle of nowhere. They're still using like sticks and stones, hunting gatherers, and they're not allowed to be contacted. They have to just be left alone. Maybe that's us.
Maybe.
And maybe this is their way of sort of keeping an eye on us.
Maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't necessarily believe in it, but if it's true, it's fucking terrifying.
It is. It is fucking terrifying. This has been another edition of Just Johnny's Conspiracy Corner. Keep your eyes on the skies, because you never know, folks.
You never know.
That was cool. You did your own segment. How do you feel?
I feel professional.
You popped your segment cherry, big guy.
Yeah.
Now, let's finish off with a recommendation, another review. We went review heavy this week, but I think we checked off all of our items to discuss. I wanted to mention a TV show I really enjoyed that you really didn't enjoy. It's another one of those things where we find out we don't enjoy the same TV shows and movies sometimes, man, and that's okay. It makes us who we are.
It does.
My wife and I thoroughly enjoyed the brand new show Project Blue Book, where the story of Dr. Alan Hynek when he was working with the U.S. government on the cleverly titled Project Blue Book.
Which, did they actually explain where that title came from?
No, but maybe it was just like literally like a blue book they kept all the files in.
See, they don't even answer anything. This is worse than Lost.
So it's not worse than Lost, but anyway, Dr. Alan Hynek is played by Aidan Gillen, who you'll know from Game of Thrones. Captain Michael Quinn is played by Michael Malarkey. Now, what they've done with this guy, because these are true stories, ladies and gentlemen, this doctor actually existed. He actually worked on a project for the study of UFOs for the U.S. government called Project Blue Book, which recently has become exposed because there's that thing about public knowledge, isn't there? After a certain amount of time, documents have to be released. This is one of those. So
50 years, apparently. 50 years.
50 years. So Dr. Alan Hynek is contacted by the government to work with Captain Michael Quinn to essentially disprove the UFO theory and kind of find natural ways to explain them. That's their job. And Dr. Alan Hynek at the beginning of the series comes into this not believing at all in UFOs because he's a science guy, and he may or may not change his mind throughout the series. It's 10 episodes. Really cool. We really enjoyed it. We kind of burned through them. And I thought they were fantastic. Slow burn, though. And I guess that's what you and I found out is the major difference is you're not into the slow burn of a show, my friend.
No, I'd call this more of a sort of a drama.
Definitely.
Maybe. It's obviously for what it is, like you said, it's them going around disproving or looking into certain events that may or may not have happened. I just kind of was thought that it would be a case of, I don't know, maybe a little bit of this is what they think happened. We actually get to see some aliens, or you get to see some weird shit, you know?
Yeah. No, it's very much like, we don't want to give any spoilers because I really want you folks to watch it. It's like a period piece X-Files kind of. I saw people say it's Mad Men meets X-Files. I've never seen Mad Men, but it kind of had that period piece of Close Encounters feel. Yeah, they don't ever like, there's no like big nut scene where they show you like the alien that's like, no, nothing like that. Everything's hinted at, which I guess because it's based on true cases and we don't really know what these things actually are, they can't really show you, you know. They take some dramatic liberties and storyline liberties, but we really enjoyed it. Just Johnny didn't. But for me, example, our game of, you know, stream it, steal it, ignore it, or buy it, I would definitely buy this show on a Blu-ray box set. Absolutely, man. Especially for like special features and stuff. Definitely $100. This will be a Blu-ray purchase for ourselves.
Again, like you said, slow burn. Maybe it's more, I don't know, just used to sort of big sci-fi aliens and all that crap. And
yeah, you said there wasn't enough fighting in Aliens for you.
No, none. No fighting, no aliens.
Now, like, so folks, check that show out, Project Blue Book. And I think you have a show, as we finish up here, I think you have a show to recommend too.
Do I?
Something that you fell upon? A show you stumbled upon that we now thoroughly enjoy? Tell us all about that show, Just Johnny.
I do. I guess it all started back in the early 90s. Wait.
No, that's how I tell stories.
Was it 14, 16 years ago? Probably 18 years ago when Super Troopers 1 came out?
Yeah.
So Broken Lizard, group of friends make films, randomly searching for legal things to watch on my streaming app.
Legally acquire.
I was like, I know that guy. Why do I know that guy? I clicked on it, give it a bit of a Google, and it's called Tacoma FD.
Yeah.
And it's the Broken Lizard people are firefighters, and it's just kind of like think Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but with firemen.
Starring the Super Troopers guys.
Yeah. So if you like Super Troopers, like that humor, it's literally that. It's easy watching. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's good.
Now, it's one of our least favorite things, though, because now we have to watch week by week, right? Because we're like kind of on par with them. I mean, it's soon to start in the UK, at which point we look forward to catching up to it, being able to watch it.
We've only seen the trailers.
That's right, only the trailers. But a really funny show, folks. We definitely recommend that you check it out. It isn't all of them, but it looks like from a trailer that they will kind of all jump in and out of it. Now, you and I both adored Super Troopers, you know what I mean? Really, really funny movie. And I think I'm going to speak for you when I say both severely disappointed by Super Troopers 2, man.
A little bit. I mean, I guess 14 or 16 years or however long it was kind of a long build up. It was good. I did enjoy it, but I think I put Super Troopers 1 and 2 high of a pedestal.
Yeah, because the movie's so funny and such good memories of watching it so many times. I think that it just didn't have enough to live up to. It had too much to live up to. It's our own fault. Kind of like when people get disappointed by other movies. This has been a movie chat heavy episode, but I'm kind of down with it. If you don't mind finishing up on one last thing. I know you want to eat, and I know I ran late. I'm so sorry, Just Johnny. The listeners appreciate it. Rachel and I rewatched a movie that I've now seen a total of 2 times, and that is The Last Jedi.
Okay.
Now, do you remember what I told you when I saw it in theaters? We saw it together, I believe. That we both kind of said, "Oh, it was a Star Wars movie. It was cool. I enjoyed it." Right? This hurts me to say this, man. I did not enjoy it the second time.
This is probably might sound insulting to certain fans out there. Is this the one the middle one?
Yes, the one where, spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1, Luke Skywalker dies.
Oh, spoilers.
You fucking seen it. Anyway, we saw it together, man. When Leia does the Mary Poppins things out in space, the Mary Poppins moment in space, it had its moments, but overall, as I was watching it, I was kind of thinking like, this is not a good movie, man. So it hurts me to say that, and I hope JJ is going to come back and knock it out of the park for us all. At Christmas time.
It's kind of, how do you say this? I don't know. There's too much out there. You got like all the games, all the cartoons, all the TV shows, all the films, all the books, and like if you were to go back and watch the original films with a new set of eyes, do they actually hold up, or is it just nostalgia? I mean, don't get me wrong. The prequels, they weren't the best, but it's kind of what people wanted. They wanted
Yeah, but 4, 5, 6 definitely hold up for me. Definitely.
Do they?
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
Do they though?
Yes, I'm not saying it even just because I want to fight you about it. I'm telling you, yes, they do. For me, anyway. Maybe not for you. But I have them on Blu-ray, so for our rating system, they have the highest honor in our ranking system.
I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this. I do enjoy them. I have seen them. But I wouldn't kind of put them up there as like, my top 10 or anything.
Yeah, but you have shit taste in movies. So how about this? Next episode, you and I, we don't want to steal anyone's gimmick here by compiling a list because,
But if we go to a cafe and talk it out.
Right. What I want to do is now
dinner maybe.
It doesn't have to be in any particular order thing. So you don't have to rank like, better, worst to best or anything. But write down your favorite 10 movies. And I know these things always change. But as of now, as of the time of writing and time of recording, what is Just Johnny's top 10 movies? And I'll do my top 10 movies. And we'll give a little feedback on each one and why we chose them. How does that sound?
God damn.
Ozzy and the Palm do top 5 lists, but we're real men, so we're gonna do a top 10 list. You know what I'm saying? Like David Letterman and shit.
Do top 10 and one guilty pleasure that you're gonna get abuse for.
Perfect. Now that's within the 10, and we'll just name it.
Ooh. No, that's besides the 10. So you got your 10, and then so then basically we got a top 11 list.
All right, fine. Yeah, so 10 and a guilty pleasure. They do honorable mentions, but again, we're doubling it. And I'm only teasing. I really like Ozzy and the Palm. They're both great dudes, and I love their show. Check out Appleby Creative for Nate's artwork, which is, far too good to not have millions of eyes on it. So I really wish him, ongoing success with that as well. Look at me being nice. So yeah, next week, you and I'll compile. Next episode, we'll compile our top 10 favorite movies, plus a guilty pleasure. And if you want to do that too, folks, we would love to hear from you. That'll be long, though, so you can send it as a message on the Facebook group to us. You can post it on the Facebook group, or you can email it legendinmypodcast@gmail.com. What else was there? We want to know if you're going to big yourself, who's going to play you in the movie. If you're going to Shazam yourself, what superhero are you going to turn into? And what was the other one, Just Johnny? Is what you thought of Shazam. Would you stream it? Would you download it? Would you buy it? Would you ignore it? And there you go. So I think that's everything, man. A nice little episode. We're gonna drop nice and fresh. If it was a patty, it would still be steaming. Was that gross?
Yeah.
Listen, man. I want to say one last thing. Because Steve from Dinner and Podcast from the IHOP Network said that we were, and I took it as a compliment, but he said that we were the raunchy side of the IHOP Network. Would you say that we're fucking raunchy? That we swear a fucking lot?
No, I say we're fucking delightful. We're a fucking dream.
I would say, though, since the day that the Aussie called us out for swearing a lot, I've tried to swear less. I don't know if that's some subconscious level thing. But he said we're raunchy. And then the other day on Not Another Nerdy Podcast, one of the gentlemen, who I will not name and shame here, referred to Captain Marvel and said that, because one of them said this movie sucked or something, and he answered with, she can suck whatever she wants. And I thought, that's pretty raunchy.
Yeah. I guess maybe in some people's eyes, a high compliment.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if they're listening, because when they do another episode in 6 months. Just kidding. All right, folks, listen. Check out the IHOP Network. Check us out on Twitter @Legend Podcast. There's a Facebook group for both this podcast, Legend in My Spare Time, and for the IHOP Network International House of Podcasts. We also got Matt Lees Gets Creative. That's a Facebook group. All 10 episodes available right now wherever you get your podcasts. And depending on when you listen, Friday, the 27th of April, the Matt Lees Band drops the single, Remind Yourself. We're trying to bring the blues back. It's classic Chicago blues with a little bit of a modern twist. That's the same day Endgame comes out. So while you're waiting to get in for Endgame, make sure you stream our song a bunch of fucking times. Closing thoughts, Just Johnny.
8 more days.
For
there's 8 more days until we get to go watch Endgame.
I know.
We're watching it on the 27th at 8:05 in the morning.
Saturday morning, 8 a.m., ladies and gentlemen. We will be there watching Endgame. Let's finish with a public service announcement. Don't spoil Endgame for people, motherfuckers. I'm looking at some of you who I know who go see things early and post things. Don't post nothing. Don't be an asshole. Is that fair?
The one thing that pisses me off is, obviously, you know that I like an app called Reddit, or a website called Reddit that has an app. And as soon, because at 9 o'clock American time, they get to watch Game of Thrones. And then obviously some cool or sad people stay up and they'll make memes about this episode, usually have spoilers or pictures of scenes.
Right.
And then it doesn't air until the Monday, 9 o'clock over here, unless you can acquire it through nefarious means. So you've got like you've got about 24 hours of potential spoilers there. I don't think these fuckers understand that we're going to be seeing Endgame before them.
Right? They're going to get it back.
I'm just saying.
Right? Just saying. Now, Game of Thrones does air here in the UK at 2 a.m., so the same time as the United States and everywhere else. But its actual advertised airing is Mondays at 9. So there are people that stay up and watch it at 2 in the morning. There are others that legally acquire a copy as soon as it appears on various websites where apparently you can do things like that. I wouldn't know anything about that. I wouldn't know how to do that, nor would I know how it worked, and nor would I do it if I could. So anyway... so don't be assholes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not spoil things. It's Game of Thrones season. Winter is here. It's a delightful time. Don't ruin it for everyone. Avengers Endgame is coming soon. Don't ruin it for everyone. If you want to look back in the archives of this very podcast, you'll find an episode where I got to interview Ross Mullen, who plays a White Walker, one of the main White Walkers in Game of Thrones, ladies and gentlemen. So check that out. All right. Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling good.
Feeling rowdy?
Raunchy?
Raunchy?
And I have a pipe.
Itchy? You have a pipe?
No. Rowdy pipe bearer.
You came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and you're all out of bubblegum.
I'm all out of ass.
For your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast, Legend in My Spare Time, my name has been Matt motherfucking Lees. His name has been Just Johnny. I fucked it up, but so what? Here goes nothing. Please, get the fuck off of our podcast. Say goodnight, Just Johnny.
Good night, Just Johnny.
I didn't like it as much. I've been Just Johnny.
He's been Matt Lees.
Get the fuck off my podcast. Bye-bye.
Legend in my spare time. Spare time.